Hey guys, this is Jason
This is
Douglas.
Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You're watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Flea Boy.
What's good, everybody? You already know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one Flea Boy Jetson, and you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you can be notified for any upcoming discussions or interviews with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today we got a huge guest in the building. She morphed herself into one of the most iconic women superheroes of the 90s and one of the biggest and most popular children's show of that generation, carving her own legacy, becoming the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger and the Pink Zeo Ranger and Pink Turbo Ranger. Let's welcome Catherine Sutherland to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Wow, thank you.
Hey, thank you for coming on the show. We got so much to discuss. We've been doing Power Rangers on the channel recently. We usually do like voice actors, but I wanted to do Power Rangers because I grew up just thinking I was a Power Ranger myself, jumping off couches, things like that. So I wanted to interview some of the most iconic Rangers from the series, and you stepped into some pretty huge shoes as the Pink Ranger at the peak of the Power Ranger franchise, becoming the most iconic female superhero in the world. What was that transition like, both on and off screen for you?
Yeah, well, I auditioned in Australia, so I think the show had only just started airing there, so I really didn't know what it was. I just knew it was a children's show that filmed in America, and I was just happy to be getting a job, you know. And my first introduction to how big the show was actually at the premiere of the movie, the first movie. I was with Jason Frank and his wife and one of the producers, and when we stepped out of the car, it was like he was one of the Beatles. It was crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't just a little kids show, you know? So I realized at that point that this was like, I was going to be part of a really, really big thing here. And, you know, I think I was always very sensitive to the fact that this was Amy Jo's family and they had built this show together, and I knew how popular she was. And so I was very aware of that when I walked on the set. So I was sensitive to her, the fact that even though she'd chosen to leave, this was still her space. So I think I was a little bit nervous. I was nervous if the fans were going to accept me, because they had in my contract, if I wasn't, you know, accepted by the fandom, I'd be going back home. So there was a lot of pressure on me to, you know, make sure that I did the role right. And I think the writers were really smart in making the characters very different from each other. I think that helped them accept me once they got over me being horrible, the evil character. So yeah, it's a real honor to be a part of something like this. You know, especially after it's been on for 30 years, it's still crazy to think it's been going that long. But
Yeah, and man, oh man, did you make an impact when you came on to the show? Blew everybody away, definitely in a good way, because Kat's evolution from being a mind control antagonist to a core member of the team had a unique emotional layer. How did you navigate portraying that inner conflict within the framework of a children's action series?
It's always really fun to do something that's very different from you. So I really enjoyed playing that character, and I got to work a lot with the stunt guys and everything, which once you're a ranger, we didn't see a lot of them because we were filming simultaneously. So I'm really glad I got an opportunity to get to know all of those guys well. And it was just really fun. I think I obviously, you know, it was overly dramatized because they had to make sure that the kids knew she was the bad guy. But some of the parts were a little cheesy, like the hair toss and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, what's this about? But they wanted to make her kind of seductive, but in a children's way. So it was really fun to play. And I think, you know, just I'd been in acting school, so I was really in the thick of like learning about acting, and so anything that kind of provided a little bit of a challenge for me was really fun at that time of my life.
Okay, let's go. What was there a particular episode or storyline that really resonated with you on a personal level throughout the franchise?
Yes, there's an episode in Turbo called Wait and See, and it was an episode that really like the writers were asking us a lot about things that happened in our own lives, personal lives, and I had experienced this because I was a dancer. There was a lot of girls around me that had eating disorders, and I struggled a lot as a teenager with my self-esteem. And so in the episode, Kat was really struggling with her self-esteem, and she decides not to eat food, and she is like, basically the moral of the story is it's what's on the inside that matters more than what's on the outside. But it was a really I thought a really important message to kids, and because I'd struggled with that myself, I thought it was really important to share that with them.
That's
So
really interesting, and that's a great insight. So it just from hearing you say that, right? It shows that the writers actually, actually look forward to talking to y'all on collaborating on certain episodes. Was there another episode where you got to like improvise or like get some type of say into it?
Um, any of the episodes where I was dancing, I had some input in that. And they knew I was a huge animal lover, so I was very fortunate. I got to work with monkeys and dogs and horses and all kinds of animals, so that was really fun. And Doug Sloan and Ann Knapp, who were the writers for predominantly for Zeo and into the first half of Turbo, they were really good about bringing out our skills or our personalities. Nakia was a singer, so they wrote that into the show. It was really cool that they did that. So I'm trying to think if there was any others that I specifically had an input
That is
in.
actually awesome though, man. 'Cause you don't get that, you don't get too much of that on other shows. So I think that's
Yeah.
pretty dope. Now, Power Rangers did help define the 90s pop culture, but
Mhm.
often was dismissed critically. Now that is viewed in a more nostalgic and more appreciating lens, has your own perspective of the show evolved?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was on the show, we all thought it was kind of cheesy, but we knew that kids loved it, and I think it had everything. It was fast paced. It had great music. It was had fighting. It had the girls were feminine, but they were also a really integral part of the team and strong girls. It had great moral messages. It was colorful and fun, and it really captured the 90s with the fashion and the style and all of that. So now looking back on that, I can really see all of those elements. But when we were on the show at the time, I remember thinking, this is so low budget. And this is like, we were all kind of looking at it at a little bit of a critical lens, I think. But they definitely were onto something. I mean, a show doesn't last for 30 years with children, especially. Kids are on to the next best thing. So the fact that it's still relevant for kids even now, parents are introducing it to their children. I think that says a lot about the show. And Chaim was definitely onto something when he discovered this.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm talking about globally. Like even the
Yeah.
conventions are massive. The Power Rangers con that y'all have, what is it called? Morphicon?
Or Morphicon, yep. And Ranger Stop and
Man,
Pop, and yep.
yeah, it's just so huge now. And I think it has mostly to do with the internet. And now it's unfortunate we haven't got a Power Rangers season in a couple of years, but just the feeling is missing so much that now people are actually Americans and people on the west side of things are looking for Super Sentai now because
Yeah.
that gap that we usually get, like every season we know Power Rangers is coming out. We haven't
Hmm.
gotten one recently, which we're gonna get to the reason why in a second. Now, your character Kat, went on to play multiple series be in multiple series throughout the franchise, including a few movies and cameos. Power Rangers, the movie Turbo, Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. We had Once and Always, the Netflix 30th anniversary special. Was there a favorite comeback for Kat and why?
Definitely Once and Always. I was really happy to go back for Ninja Steel, but I felt like it was a bit of a cop out. They were just cameos. There wasn't like anything. It didn't bring my character back. It was just like, oh, there's Kat, there's the Gold Ranger from Samurai. Oh, there's Rocky. They were just kind of like making sure it was kind of fun for the fans, but a lot of fans were disappointed in those anniversary episodes because they didn't get their favorite characters coming back to life. So when they contacted me for Once and Always, that was my first question to them is, well, am I coming back or am I just like appearing as a character? Because if I'm coming back, I want to come back properly for the fans. And they were like, no, it's going to be a true, like, we're going to invest in all of the characters and the stories. And I really loved what they did with her. I mean, that's where I saw her going. I saw her going on to marrying Tommy in the future and then the kid and just maybe our child becomes a Power Ranger in the future because they'd kind of insinuated that in the series when I was on it in Zeo. I think that was it was fun to go back to New Zealand, really nostalgic to walk back on all the sets being recreated. The juice bar looked just like it had when I was on it. It was really fun. And I got to work with Walter for the first time too. So that was cool.
That's amazing. I love the way they did that. It brought back so many dope memories for me. I didn't even believe they did it. I was like, yo, we're actually getting this and just watching it because my kids, they love Power Rangers too. And just, getting that full circle moment, watching it with my kids, I think that's one of my favorite moments for Kat and the rest of the gang that came back. You had Billy come back, you had Walter, you had everybody. I thought it was pretty dope. Now, this is a fan question from the community. Big shout out to everybody that watches the channel. Make sure y'all comment in the comment section below what you like most about this interview and if your answer is the right one. But it's her opinion that matters. So you wore so many iconic outfits throughout the franchise. The Mighty Morphin, Zeo, the Turbo. Which one had your favorite helmet? Which one was your favorite helmet out of all three of them?
Oh, for sure. My favorite helmet was Mighty Morphin. 100%. I love that helmet. It's iconic. I loved the pterodactyl, the face, just the way it was all structured. Definitely that one.
Hey, there you go. So the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger helmet is her favorite. Thank you so much. I believe it was BK that sent that question in. I forgot to write it down. Whoever sent the question in, thank you so much. And remember, all you got to do is join the Discord. I'll let y'all know when the interviews are being put out. You throw a question out there, and I'll try to get them asked for you if we got time. Now, you remained a beloved figure in the fandom that spans generations. What do you think Power Rangers taught young audience, especially girls, that other shows at the time didn't?
I think I said this a little bit earlier. I really loved that that the girls were really feminine. They were girly, feminine girls, but they were really strong and powerful and very important to the team. They didn't need the boys to fight. There was many times that I took on the monsters by myself. So I just loved showing girls that they can be strong that way and still be a girl, so that, and then I also loved how smart they were. They were good in school. They were respected authority. They were kind to people. And I think that a lot of the shows now, I find when I was watching shows with my kids, I just found the kids really snarky and rude to their parents and just I think our show always showed a lot of respect for adults, which I also really appreciated. And then being a part of the team, I think the girls in the show were really supportive of each other. And I think that's missing a lot in our culture. Girls can be really unkind and mean and pull each other down. And the girls in our show were all about elevating each other and supporting each other.
Great answer. Now, as a Power Ranger fan for so many years, and it's even hard for me to do this interview. Those that's watching know I don't even stumble like this. I'm just fanned out right now. It was really good to see, and I gotta recommend this to y'all. Catherine and Nakia have a podcast that y'all have to check out. If you're a Power Ranger fan like myself, I can't recommend it enough. Now you have so many actors, so many insights. You do reviews and reactions on the toys, the cons, everything, right? Tell us a little bit about the podcast, how it got started, how it got the creation behind Power Ranger Playback.
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, it's called Power Rangers Playback. So Nakia and I in 2019 we were in Scotland at a convention, and there was two guys next to us that we met at the convention. We love them, Nolan North and Troy Baker. And you guys would know them if you're at all into the voiceover world. They're very
Yeah.
that industry. And they had a really long line with their fans were wearing shirts that said Retro Replay on it. And we said to them, so what's Retro Replay? And they said, oh, it's our YouTube channel. And we watch our games together. We play them. And then we talk about, we do our voices and we talk about the games that we voiced. And I was like, that's such a great idea for your fans. So Nakia and I were like, we should do something like that for our fans. So we started throwing out ideas of, oh, we'll watch episodes and we'll talk about, what it was like behind the scenes of our episodes. So that's kind of what we were going to do originally. Well, we recorded a bunch of episodes and we went to put it up and we got copyright claimed immediately. And we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And they cut it down from, a 20-minute episode down to like 1 minute. We couldn't use any footage or even with, just putting pictures up and making it our own and whatever they call that, fair play, I think it's called. We couldn't even do that. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board. And then COVID happened. And so we had a whole lot of time to brainstorm. And so we came up with all kinds of fun content. Nakia would call me in like 3 a.m. and be like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And then I'd be like, while she's sleeping, I'm like, we could do this, we could do that. So we were coming up with all kinds of fun ideas and based on what fans had questions fans had asked us or things that they wanted to know. And it was such a beautiful thing to have during that year because all the conventions had been shut down. So fans didn't have a community to connect to each other. And that's so important to our fandom. They love conventions and just community. They love the community. It's a very, very like a little family. And so our channel became a community. So we ended up creating membership for our fans. And we have Discord channels. We do video chats with them. We ask a lot of their opinions of what kind of content and what kind of guests to bring on. And they really help us with merchandise, all kinds of stuff. It's a very collaborative channel. And it's really funny because we even have people watch it now that aren't even Power Rangers fans. They just love our friendship because Nakia and I are so close and it's fun and joyful. And it's just a really nice way to give back some happiness. There's too many dark things in the world right now. We just got to bring some joy where we can. So that's kind of how it evolved. And now we have, hundreds of members and we have, it's building. We're realizing we're not very technical. So we're trying to figure out how to grow our subscribers and all that stuff that we're not very familiar with. And it's been a really fun to share that with her. So we travel all over the world and doing conventions together and talking about our channel. And yeah, it's really fun.
I love it. I really enjoy watching y'all, and you learn so many different things. I've watched so many interviews, so many reviews. So it's just an awesome channel. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for anyone who is not subscribed to that channel. I don't know what you're doing if you're not subscribed, especially if you're a Power Ranger. It's free. No, support is absolutely free, man. Yes. Now, what was your favorite interview to do on that channel?
Oh gosh, we've interviewed so many people. I love them all because, I didn't watch the show. So I'm now that we have the channel, I've gotten to watch other seasons and learn about other series that I didn't know about. And it's been really fun to, I know the actors, so actually seeing what their shows and their seasons were about is really fun. I always love interviewing my closest friends. So it's been fun, interviewing Karen, Ashley, or Johnny, or Aaron and Jason from Time Force. We did a fun episode with them. We have a really, really great episode with Jason Frank that went on for 2 hours or something crazy like that. Like I had to leave the interview and go with my children and come back. So, yeah.
I actually seen that one. That was a good one.
It was a good one. We had a really good one with Aaron and Tammy and Jenna. one talking about Jason, really, that if you want some insight on that. One of my favorite ones too was we had Angela Rockwood. She was Twee's best friend, and she was in the car with Twee when the accident happened that took Twee's life way too soon. And so she shares a lot of beautiful things about Twee and talks about that day. And it was a very emotional episode, but really, really good. Like the fans really loved that one.
Man, I just got goosebumps just
Yeah.
hearing that from here.
Yeah. So we try to do a nice variety. We just had Philip Andrew from Wild Force on last week. We're having a couple of newer season guests coming on in the next couple of months. So it's been good. We try to spread it out so it's not all like OG people. We want to have all of the seasons as much as we can. So
That is phenomenal. I'll be checking it out for sure, for sure. I can't get enough of it. Heroes, please, I'm telling y'all one more time, if you enjoy Power Rangers, this is the best podcast to go check out. You get the insight from the actors themselves that were actually in it. It's not like here, no offense, I love my podcast, but it's different. You get Catherine and Nakia actually interviewing other Power Rangers on multiple seasons. Not only that, they review the toys, the games, whatever's going on within that culture themselves. It's a really wholesome podcast. Make sure y'all check it out. Now, speaking of the future of Power Rangers, right? Disney is developing the new live action reboot for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Disney Plus. The showrunners will be Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz. Now, both of these gentlemen have already worked together in other shows like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Apple TVC with Jason Momoa, Black Sails, Jericho, et cetera, et cetera. So they have like a little chemistry already working on multiple different projects. What do you think will be some of the key ingredients this show will need to not only succeed, but attract new audience to the franchise?
Well, first of all, I didn't know that. I knew they'd done the Percy Jackson. I didn't know all the other stuff. They're very accomplished, and I love their work. I think they're both super talented, and I think it's fun to see someone like that come into the series and see what they can do. We've always said that we would love to see a more mature version of the show. There has been fan ones done over the years, and some of them were a little too dark for me. It's still a kids show, so I like that it's a little wholesome. That's just my personal take.
No, I agree with you. I think we're talking about the same one that was a little too dark.
A little,
on
went a
YouTube.
little too far for me. But I thought it was great. It looked well done, but it just was a little too far away, a bit too much of a departure for me personally. But I really I loved the 2017 movie. I thought they did a great job. I liked that whole Breakfast Club kind of feel. I liked in Once and Always, we saw a little bit more, a little bit darker. Like we saw blood for the first time in Power Rangers. We saw death for the first time in Power Rangers. So I think they did a nice job of kind of ushering that in a little bit. I would like to see maybe them bring back some of the original Rangers from the original Zordon era series to be mentors maybe for the newer Rangers. Maybe that's their kids, maybe their teachers, something like that, just having some influence from that original series. But I hope they don't go too far away from it because it's working and people love it. And I think that would be disappointing for the fandom. I'm around, I hear all of our fans and what they want all the time. I hear what they love. I hear like every weekend when I'm at a convention, I'm talking to them. So I hope that whoever, carries this on is going to listen to the fans, what the fans want, finally.
No, I agree with you. Some fan service isn't bad. So I agree.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. At first I was like, are they going to make it an animated series or are they going to make it like a movie or is it going to be just, different versions of different seasons or I'm really curious what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a full-on reboot, which, I kind of agree with it and I don't because it's like, it's time to mix it up. And I think the same creators that worked on Percy Jackson and the Olympians give me a little faith because some of the monsters, I think they're going to move away from the prosthetic type aspect of the monsters and more CGI-ish. And I think, the Zords and things like that, because Disney Plus, they've been spending a lot of money on these Disney Plus shows,
Yeah.
especially the Star Wars ones. They're like $250 million to do
Yeah.
Andor. I think Andor was like 250 million. So
Wow.
so I think with a big budget like this, will be visually good, but me personally, I hope they rely more on the storytelling for the kids, like the
Yeah.
kids' story. Give us more of a background, something like they did with Rocky and the Boom studio comics, where you got more
Yeah.
background of the characters, and
Yeah.
they felt more relatable because you felt their everyday struggles. Something
Yeah.
like the episode you was talking about with Kat, where she was dealing with some of the things that teenage girls deal with and
Yeah.
exploring stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think
it'd be also cool to see them if they did something like, in the 2017 movie, they insinuated that Rita was the Green Ranger and Jordan was the Red Ranger. I would like to see something like that, like a prequel of like how the Rangers even started. That would be really cool too.
yeah, and man, the more you say it, the more I get mad that we didn't get a sequel to that 2017 film. Come on, they gave
Yeah,
us Tommy at
they
the
gave you Tommy
end.
at the end. I
And
know.
oh man, such a missed opportunity. But that's what everybody gets. Everybody felt some type of way about the movie. Um, Review bombed it, and now look, now everybody's wishing they could go back and get that sequel, and now it's a little too late. But I
Yeah,
did watch an interview with the late great um JDF, right?
yeah.
And he said something like he would like to see an anime of Power Rangers. He would
Mhm.
like to see, not a continuation, because he felt like making a reboot of a reboot of a reboot would be a little too much, which they're actually doing. And he is right. You got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you got the 2017. This will be the third time that they're rebooting this iteration of the Power Rangers.
Mhm.
So if they was to make an anime, would you ever want to come back to play Cat in an animation project?
Yeah. Oh, I would love to. Absolutely. Yeah. I love doing voiceover stuff. And I think they would have a lot more, they could create a lot more, a bigger, even bigger world like they have with the comics. I love what they've done with the comics. It's kind of opened up all these new dimensions. And I think that it would be really fun to be a part of something like that.
And I love something that you said in this interview. You said something about they insinuated it in Zeo that Tommy Oliver and Kat had a son. I would love them to explore something like that, or just the future of those core members and a
Yeah.
more updated version. I think that would hit on all cylinders. But this has come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I have one more question for you, which is a universal question that I ask all my guests when they come on here. Who are your top 5 fictional characters of all time? You can go books, series, movies, video games. Who are your top 5 fictional characters of all time?
My goodness. That's a big question. Okay. Let me think about this. I loved She-Ra,
Mm.
He-Man and She-Ra. That was like a big one for me when I was growing up. Um, I loved Sandy from Grease.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she was my hero growing up. I used to dress like her. Um, I love Harry Potter. So
How do
the
you
oh
feel about the reboot? Did you see the new cast?
no, they're doing another one.
Yeah, on HBO. It's a series. And they
Oh, I'm
already
so
announced the cast. They look
excited.
really young, man. They went like,
Yeah.
these kids look like 13, 14. I'm not even gonna lie. They look
Wow.
really, really young. I'm surprised how young they went with this cast, this new
Oh,
cast.
wow. Um, and I love Game of Thrones, so I would have to say Khaleesi is up there for me as a fiction.
Okay, let's go. You excited for season 3 of House of the Dragons?
House of the Dragon, yes, I liked the second season. The first one was too dark. I couldn't see. The lighting was so dark.
I
Um,
get it.
and all the changes of the characters and stuff, but the second season was great. Yeah, so and then I can't think of anything. I mean, I that's just like a world, isn't it? Huge world of Captain America. There we go. I'll just go.
Hey, there we go. That's what's up. Okay,
Oh, I love
now
Cap.
before we let you go, are there any upcoming conventions or projects you're able to talk about? Because I know sometimes y'all, got NDAs and things like that in place. But are there any upcoming projects or conventions that you are able to speak about?
Yes, there's an animated series Jason Font and I worked on. I don't think I can say anything about it, but I'm playing a queen in it, which was really
Let's
fun.
go. So you're going into the voiceover world now.
Yes. I've been doing voiceover for a
Oh, you
while.
have? What's some of the projects you've been in?
I did a lot. You would hear me on a lot of toys. Like I did a lot of fairies and princesses for Mattel. And like there was a toy a lot of little girls loved called Password Journal. I did all the prompts on that toy. I did a couple of video games. I did the voice of Mira in Pitfall Harry, the first one. I've done like just a bunch of monster voices, like all kinds of stuff.
You doing monster voices?
Yeah, commercials. Yeah, lots of different things over the years.
Let's go. I didn't know
I
that.
would love to do like a series or something, but it's a hard business to crack into. Anyway, so that, and then writing. I've written a children's book, which I just reconfigured, and I'm trying to get illustrators for another two that I've written. Power Rangers Playback and conventions keeps me really busy. And then I've kind of dipped my toe back into the acting world again. So I have a manager and I'm starting to audition again, which is so crazy after all these years. But it's I like to have variety in my life. I have a lot of different things going on all the time.
I was so excited for you, man. I'm definitely going to be following you on Instagram. Heroes, if you're not following on Instagram, link will be in the description. Let people know where to find you at.
Catherine_Sutherland on Instagram. I don't really use Facebook much, so Instagram's really the best place to catch me. We also have a Power Rangers Playback Instagram page. I'm pretty active on Instagram, so if you message me and stuff, I usually try my best to respond to people. And then I have a website, catherinesutherland.biz, and we have a Power Rangers Playback website as well. And I usually post where I'm going to be, like with conventions and all that stuff, or what my latest things are that I've going on. So.
And we will be staying up to date with you, Catherine. Thank you so much for coming by. Heroes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at our next milestone of 5K. Y'all have been awesome, because this is a fairly new podcast, but y'all have been giving us that lift that we needed. So we're giving it back to you. And don't forget to love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Until next time, Voice of the Heroes.
Singing with me.